Hey folks, big time Jimmy Larson here for another edition of At the Movies, right here on Spooky Month. That's right. And we are going to be reviewing another Halloween-themed movie this week. This week we will be reviewing the 1993 made-for-TV movie Double Double, Toil, and Trouble. This movie, of course, stars Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. And let me just start by saying that the Olsen twins at one time were the most super over entity in television. And it all started because of a TV show called Full House. And on Full House, the Olsen twins played one part. They dueled because they played it as a baby all the way up until they grew to be a teenager, and they played the character of Michelle. And Full House was definitely a popular TV series, as it had a board game. It even had its own dolls. Yeah, it was crazy. But as time went on, everybody kind of focused only on the Olsen twins. And the Olsen twins, over the years, they were on everything. They had their own video games, and movies, and oh my God, you can't even see me anymore. Can you maybe clear those up? I mean, seriously. Yeah. So this movie was one of the many TV movies that they made. We'll be reviewing one of the other ones in a few months here on the channel. But Double Double, Toil, and Trouble was a movie that, as it starts off, it actually starts with the following is based on a true story, maybe. And yeah, I don't think it was based on a true story. But the definite thing there is that the Olsen twins, like I said, they were so popular throughout this time. So in this movie, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen play Lynn and Kelly, and you can see them here. And Lynn and Kelly are at a Halloween party at the start of the movie, where a little magician slash clown named Oscar the Clown, he is running a pumpkin contest as well as a magic show, and he is judging the pumpkin carving contest, and Lynn and Kelly win, and as a prize he gives them this magic wand, as you can see here. But the magic wand actually has magical powers, but only for Lynn and Kelly, because Oscar himself is actually surprised that it really does have these powers, and that plays a factor all through the movie. So they go on with their parents, though, however, to their mom's Aunt Agatha's house, because their parents are about to be foreclosed on their house and want to try and ask their rich Aunt Agatha for some money. But Agatha is a really mean lady, played by Cloris Leachman, as you can see here. And we learned that she also has a twin sister named Sophia, but Sophia went missing long ago. And then Lynn and Kelly, outside, they encounter this gravedigger who tells them all about Halloween, what happens on Halloween, that it's about the witches having their way. And he just tells them that there's good witches and there's bad witches, and that a bad witch lives in that house. And then Lynn and Kelly, they're just like, are you saying that witches are real? And he goes, oh yeah, they're real, all right. And he tells them all about, on Halloween, all these different things that can happen. And he tells them about Agatha having this magic moonstone, as you can see here. And he tells them that she used that moonstone to make her sister Sophia disappear long ago, and that the spell will be permanent as of Halloween. So basically, a set of twins have to get their hands on the moonstone by midnight on Halloween to break the spell to get Sophia back. But where are they gonna find those twins, I wonder? So the girls end up meeting a homeless man named Mr. N, and he wants to be rich. He wants to be filthy rich. And as we all know, in another life, he was filthy rich, and he owned a great car too. But that's another life. So they all decide together that they're going to work together with Mr. N to try and break the spell and rescue Aunt Sophia. And as they're hiking through the woods, they happen to come across a little house, as you can see here, which turns out to be Oscar's house, Oscar the Clown from earlier, who is a little person, so he lives in a little house, like a fairy tale. So they end up having him join in with them as well, and they tell him the whole story, and he is eager to help them to try and break this spell, and he's happy to see that they still have the magic wand that he gave them. So they go on their way, and they decide to crash this witches gathering that's going to be happening, that's being led by Agatha. And they go there and they crash the place in costume, and they end up stealing the moonstone away from Agatha, and then they split up to try and get away. But when Kelly gets kidnapped, then everything changes because Agatha tries to hold Kelly as hostage to get her moonstone back, and then she ends up turning Mr. N into a crow, as you can see here. And when that happens, he goes from being filthy rich to just plain filthy. And then at this point now, Lynn and Oscar, they decide that they have to recruit somebody else now because they've lost Mr. N and now they've lost Kelly. So they go to try and track down Mr. Gravedigger so they can recruit him. So now, with the Gravedigger's help, Lynn, Oscar, and the Gravedigger, of course, and Mr. N, who's also a tag-along, and he can still talk despite being a crow, they all head to Agatha's mansion so they can try and break the spell with the moonstone that they have. And they get to the mansion, and it's locked, of course, and in a funny scene, Oscar's like, hey, let's go around back, and Mr. Gravedigger, who doesn't want to be there, because like I said, he's scared to death to be there, he ends up going, oh, let's go bowling. And it's really funny, you have to see it. So they go around back, and the only way to get in is by an open window way up top. And how are they going to do this? Well, they took Oscar's clownmobile with them, so they end up blowing up a whole bunch of balloons with helium, and Oscar being a little person, and this being a kid's movie, so the logic doesn't have to go well. I mean, we got people turning into crows, we got witches being real, we got all kinds of magic and spells. Oscar ends up, well, he ends up using the balloons to raise himself up to the open window, and then he runs down and lets them all in. And they come in and they go to try and rescue Sophia, who they find inside of this mirror, but they find out that they need both sets of twins with the moonstone in order to break the spell, so Lynn can't do it. And then Agatha turns the Gravedigger and Oscar both into turtles, so now they're of no help. And then she comes in, she screams out, I have Lynn! And Kelly's like, but I'm Kelly! And Agatha's like, oh, who cares? And she just doesn't care. And then the funniest thing in the whole movie happens as Lynn here, she ends up telling her, I'll give you the moonstone if you let Kelly go. You can see it here, like I said. She's just like, well, cross your heart, hope to die, stick a needle in your eye, shake your bottom if you got him. I don't get it either, but it's a kid's movie. So Lynn gives the moonstone to Agatha, and as you can probably tell, Agatha does not keep her promise, and she still hangs on to Kelly. And then Lynn's like, but you crossed your heart. And Agatha goes, see, that's where you're in the wrong, because I don't have a heart. Which is just like, okay. And I still don't get the whole, shake your bottom if you got him. I mean, everybody's got a bottom. How could you live without a bottom? I don't know, I guess I'm thinking into it too much. So to make a long story short, the girls end up wrestling away with the help of Mr. N. They get the moonstone back, and they both get up to the attic, and they lock the door. And then the time runs out. It gets past midnight, so they don't rescue Sophia. But they end up messing around, doing all these different things. They think maybe the magic words that they need to say to get the spell broken, and finally they just tell each other, I love being your sister, I love being a twin, and all of a sudden, boom, spell is broken, and Sophia comes out and is now with the girls, as you can see here. And Agatha's like, how is that possible? It's after midnight. And they're like, wrong, I set all the clocks ahead by 5 minutes. So it's okay, this movie has really gone off the deep end. But then they push Agatha into the mirror, and then the time does run out, and the moonstone ends up melting away, and the mirror breaks, and you see here, Agatha is now trapped in a broken mirror for the rest of her life, for all eternity. She'll never get out. And that's how the movie ends. with Sophia back and Agatha in agony. So, yeah, it's a crazy movie, and I do kind of recommend it because as a kid I loved this movie. Today it does not hold up in the test of time for adults, and it also is very not politically correct in certain areas, but it still holds quite a bit of humor, especially from the Gravedigger. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is my review of Double Double, Toil, and Trouble. I hope that you enjoyed it. We have 2 more weeks here in Spooky Month, which means we have 2 more Halloween-themed movies coming your way, and they're going to be some good ones, trust me. Will you tune in? I sure hope you do. What do you say? What do you say, Mary Kate or Ashley, whoever you are? What do you say? Michelle from Full House, what do you say? There you go. She says that she's going to watch. I hope you watch too. For now, I'm Big Time Jimmy Larson. Thank you for joining me this week here on At the Movies. You can check out all of my previous episodes in the archives on this channel. And make sure that you check myself and my editor, CTBishop, out on our podcast every Saturday night. What's Going Down on the What's Going Down YouTube channel. So, for now, I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Wave Beats Music.